we dive into understanding imposter syndrome and adult development in the context of personal leadership, I'd like to begin by asking you a question. How could optimizing your inner operating system and increasing your personal mastery benefit you? We have a non-conscious and automatic way of acting and reacting. Growing up, humans developed habitual ways of thinking. In one sense, they're part of our socialization. One such example is perfectionism, where we believe that our personal worth and security are tied to being seen as flawless. Consequently, we set high standards for ourselves, where making mistakes is intolerable. Unfortunately, if we don't examine this habit of mind, it can control us. Another example is the need for control, where we feel worthless in any situation where we can't predict the outcome and don't feel like we're in control. To combat this feeling, we tend to take on every task ourselves, we don't delegate, and we end up micromanaging. If this need for control goes unexamined, it gets in the way of achieving our goals. Another faulty assumption is feeling worthwhile only by having to be the smartest person in the room. These beliefs lead us to criticize others, point out their faults, etc. Shedding these assumptions allow us to discover and live by our purpose and vision. Let's now talk about imposter syndrome. The term imposter syndrome was coined in 1978 by psychology professor Pauline Clance and psychologist Suzanne Imes. They did a study of high-achieving women and found that female clients couldn't internalize and accept achievements. They attribute their success to their contacts, network, timing, and perseverance. To formally define imposter syndrome, it's the belief that you have not earned what you've achieved and that you're a fraud. It's the inability to internalize our successes, and it's a result of internalized social expectations. Research suggests that over 70% of individuals experience imposter syndrome. It's really more common than you think. In a 2005 article entitled The Dangers of Feeling Like a Fake in Harvard Business Review, psychologist Manfred Ketz-de wrote about neurotic imposters and how they make an individual feel that success is a burden. These individuals feel that others are more capable and that they have been bluffing through their lives. Ketz-de also talks about specific family structures that can be breeding grounds for many individuals to feel like an imposter. Individuals raised in environments where parents are over-invested in their children's achievements seem to believe their parents will only notice them when they excel and will abandon them if they fail. As time goes on, these individuals turn into insecure overachievers. So how can someone combat imposter syndrome? What do you do? First, ask yourself what facts support that you deserve to be in your role. Secondly, monitor your internal dialogue. Next, share your thoughts and feelings with a trusted friend, partner, or colleague who's not in your professional circle. Celebrate your successes and let them really sink in. Next, let go of perfectionism. Focus on progress and not perfection. And when you do fail, reframe it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Always share your failures. This helps to get a realistic picture of the struggles of others. Finally, accept that imposter syndrome can reappear during career shifts. Next, I'd like to focus your attention on the topic of imposter syndrome and adult development. There's a whole field of adult development that is available. I've taken a lot of classes and workshops in it, so I'm going to just give you a little tiny taste here. And if it piques your interest, I really encourage you to look into it. Jennifer Garvey Berger is, in my opinion, one of the best writers on the topic. So I would encourage you to look into that if this piques your interest. Nearly 75% of us are in what is called a socialized form of mind. And that's when we're conditioned to think that we have to fit in, and we take our cues from those around us in terms of what to think and what to do. This works really well up to a point, and many of us stay in this form of mind for most of our lives, and that's perfectly fine. 75% of adults are in a socialized stage of adult development. The next stage of development is what's called self-authoring, where we become the chair of our internal board of directors. We have an internal set of rules, regulations, opinions, and ideas. A smaller percentage of adults are in this stage of adult development. It's important to recognize that the world has gotten increasingly complex, and this is especially important for leaders. Leaders need to be able to manage lots of contradictions and things that aren't clear. And so there's a huge emphasis now in the leadership development world to help leaders grow their ability to deal with complexity. And one of the avenues into that is through understanding adult development and people that are trained in adult development that can guide leaders through the process of transforming from one form of mind to another. In other words, evolving and developing